It's Sunday morning, day of worship. Worship the V8. Anyway, got a couple free hours before I gotta do family stuff. Gonna try to slap the intake. Well, wake up. I already had a cup of coffee. It's not functioning yet. I am gonna try to get the intake back onto this, which is the next step. Intake, valve covers. I don't have the valve covers ready. I need the glue to set, because valve covers on these kind of V8s leak all the time. So there's a strategic way of doing it. I should have prepped it last night and I didn't. Was too lazy, too tired. There's our intake right there. Gonna try to get that on there. Try to get that on there. It's all mostly prepped. Got a Goopa, get it on there, torqued. Find all the bolts in the right places they go. Check my pictures. All right, scraping the valve covers. Anyway, the video you just saw, I recorded that so I can play it back over and over and over, and I can visually see the valves moving and the push rods and the lifters, and everything's moving in sequence on each cylinder, because this engine had a very large ticking noise in the valve train somewhere. And I think that the cleaning of the lifters fixed it, but I was kind of having doubt whether, I was thinking possibly one of the valves isn't working at all, like a flat cam or something, from the things that the engine was doing. So I wanted to verify that everything is working. I don't want to seal this thing and have doubts, right? Because now the engine's open, so I can pretty much just record it and play it back over and over to verify that each cylinder is getting the right valve openings. It looks pretty good. I didn't see anything, didn't hear anything out of the ordinary. I mean, it's just cranking, right? It's not actually starting up. Now it's just the tedious work of getting this whole gasket off. I did this, I put this on, but at the time I did it, it was in someone's driveway, and it was just hurry up and get it to, you know, not leak. So I gooped it excessively. Black RTV for oil, specifically for greasy applications, is what works real well. There's two types of black RTVs. There's a general, you'll find them at AutoZone at a car store. They have another black RTV that is not for automotive, like it's not for engine use, right? It's for like the door trim, the door seals or window seals on a car. It's different stuff. It's not higher temp. It's not designed to stick to oily surfaces. So you want to get the right stuff. You know, there are different color of RTV if you wondered. You know, you got the black is for oil, anything like petroleum based that you need to seal. You have the gray RTV or silverish. That's for where two metal surfaces come together, like hard, like transmission parts, like transmission cases usually don't have gaskets. They're just sandwiched together. So you put the gray RTV in there. You got to let it set, and then you can squish it down. So don't like just put it on and then squeeze it. You got to let it read the instructions, basically. And then there's the orange, which is for high temp. Usually people use it on the intake in places or right on the block, but I only for this one I only got the black one. I'm gonna seal the water jackets on the intake with the black one. Not too concerned. It's a compression metal gasket. Technically it doesn't even require RTV, so not gonna stress over it. Not gonna buy two different ones. A tube of RTV is like almost 20 bucks. It's like stupid expensive. Adds to the effort, you know. It's a waste of money. This will get down the road and not leak. I will put this on a wire brush wheel here in a bit. I just do want to get all the chunks off. Should have done this last night and I could have gone straight into assembly, but it was a long day. Junior had football practice. It was a scrimmage games, called it the mega scrimmage. It killed most of the day, so, and with the weather it was pretty toasty out there. Just wasn't feeling it. I mean, it could have been like my kid actually having to play in it. I was just lounging under a shady tree, but still I gotta haul all the crap, you know, the chairs and coolers and what have you, and I was just drained, so didn't come and do it last night, and I gotta do it this morning. I gotta get it to set. Probably almost not worth doing because I don't think I'll get to this. Maybe. Like I said, I got about 3 hours this morning, down to 2 hours and 40 minutes. I could have finished this thing, at least fired it up today. But like I said, I got mom's in town visiting for the week, doing grandma stuff. And the wife and I and my mom want to go out for lunch, so, you know, family first. This thing can wait. They can wait actually a really long time. My buddy doesn't really want it back till, well, Halloween, or by October. Here in America, Halloween starts October 1st. Or unless you walk into Home Depot, Halloween starts at the end of August. I swear I saw a Christmas tree somewhere I just walked through. Yeah, I don't know where it was, but somebody still had a whole Christmas section up. And it's July, right? I don't know where I walked through. It was one of those, like, department stores. It was one of them, like J.C. Penney's or something. Or Jacques Penier, if you want to sound sophisticated, or Target. Anyway, all right, scrapage is done. It's all the crud out of it. I want to go put this on a wire brush wheel real quick. Anyway, I got them all scraped off, cleaned off. I may have some brake clean. So now I'm gonna goop it real quick. This is one of the dirtiest jobs because you could do it with gloves, but it's really hard. And this is to kind of hold the gasket put. And you can tell that it's gonna work because when you put the silicone on, there's a drag to it, right? You could tell the silicone is actually sticking to the surface. So the surface, it means that the surface is clean enough. That's something really hard to feel if you're wearing like latex gloves. That's why I do it with my bare finger. Because if it's greasy, that layer of the silicone will actually feel slippery, and you're almost like wiping it off. So I prefer to like get the feel for it. Get the rag. Make sure you wipe the silicone while it's still wet, because then you'll be scrubbing for a while later. And I'm actually going to get the little screws, and I'm going to put the little screws in there to hold the gasket. Now I only have so many of them. But this will stay on there. I'm going to set that here. This little end over here is popping up, so I'm going to set something on it. I don't know if the camera can see it. I'm just going to set that right there like that and hold it down. And this will hold it in place, and it's going to get gasket cinch on the other side, because the other side is like smooth cast, so it'll seal a little better. Anyway, that's how I do it. I'm not going to film the second one. I got to actually work. One of the pieces that's tedious on this, I mean there's many, is cinching down the valve covers to seal, right? You need to have the intake on. You can't just put the valve covers on, because there's things like this doofer thing here, the vacuum control valve for all the emissions. It straddles the valve cover and screws down over the valve cover with the valve cover nuts and bolts, and it screws down onto the intake. So the intake has to be on for you to put that thing on, which sucks. I'd rather put the valve covers on right now when there's more room, but that's not the case, because if I put them on now, I can't really torque them. I'd have to loosen them up again to put that thing on. So I kind of try to do it all, you know, at the same time. But anyway, gonna keep trucking. Yeah, on top of the emissions control valve, on top of the valve cover, there's also the heat shield that hooks to the valve cover, and you got to have all that ready if you're going to cinch down that glue. Yeah, it's a game of Tetris. A game of Tetris. Almost got the one valve cover on. I had to remove the EGR valve because the aftermarket EGR valve is like humongous, and it couldn't, the valve cover wouldn't fit over it. I didn't even try. I just took it off right away. I saw it. All right, got the driver's side valve cover all in, all tightened with that giant vacuum control valve. I'm gonna put that other passenger side valve cover on. That one doesn't have interference. It's just slapped the cover on. There's nothing like screwed to it. There's no brackets going to it or anything. I got a ton of wires that I gotta figure out here. All wrapped up. Got some grounds going over here and such. Can reroute that later. Anyway, gonna stick this last cover on, and I'm gonna call it a day. All right, got the valve cover all gooped up. Put that on there. Just that blue wire. Alrighty, we're at a stopping point for today. Got them valve covers on, got that intake on. From here on out, I gotta start building up the front. There's one more thing I gotta do. I gotta figure out which one of these two is for the overheat light, and I gotta remove it. I am gonna install a actual temperature gauge, so I need to get an adapter for that, like a pipe thread adapter for the little sensor, and then get that fuel line hooked up, bend it back into shape, start putting the hoses on, and it's gonna be, you know, a pretty good hour of running the plug wires back and mostly hooking up all the emissions back in. I got to follow, you know, the little diagram right there, so it's all kosher. Make sure, then I'll get to start it up and see what happens, see how bad it smokes, or if it smokes. You know, a little blue smoke's okay, but not a lot. I need this thing to pass emissions. So, you know, the engine's worn out, but let's hope for the best, right? I think the car will definitely drive. Still got a ways to go, but good progress today. Yeah, I'll see you when I pick this up again. I don't know when that'll be, but maybe another week or so. Anyway.